Camille was a beautiful little soul, wonderful personality. She was a sweet girl. Camille wanted to work with young people. That was her passion, to educate young children, to do homeworks with them when they have their work from school. They would come over to the house and she helped them to do it. She was a people person.
In 2001, at the age of 20, Camille left her family in Jamaica to follow her dream to be a teacher, moving to Birmingham to live with an aunt.
She said, "Mom, I think it's a better education there, so I'm going to take that chance." So she was excited to go because she knew she would get a better degree where she could work to help other children. I was happy for her because her dreams would come through. So I was excited for her to go. It was a happy time for her. I had a cell phone, so we spoke most of the time.
A year later, Camille moved to London, but at that point, she wasn't able to pursue her teaching ambitions.
She had to put that dreams on hold, mainly for financial reasons, where she ended up working sort of multiple jobs, and she was sending money back home to her family in Jamaica. And then in December 2003, an opportunity came up for her to work one of her several jobs at the Blue Bunny Club, which is Archer Street in Soho. They didn't serve alcohol. People would go to be entertained and engage in conversations. However, the fees were quite high, and often, although a client would be presented with those fees when their arrival, they probably didn't take too much notice.
On the 1st of March 2004, Camille was one of 2 hostesses there.
Around 6:30, Camille was working at the entrance to the club, where she would be engaging with various members of the public walking past, inviting them into the club, and she's approached by a male. She engages in conversation and he decides to enter the club for a £5 entry fee. He's a dark-skinned male, approximately 5'5" to 5'8", slim build, wearing dark clothing and a hat.
After chatting for about 10 minutes, the man decided to leave, and he was presented with a bill for £375.
Which he was quite disgruntled about. But it was agreed that he would pay £80 and then would leave the club, which he did, and by all account, it was quite calm.
Witnesses saw the man leaving and going a short way down a street near the Apollo Theatre, where he made a phone call.
A short while later, he returned to the club and was met by a different lady who was working at the entrance, and he walked off.
At around 7:10, Camille was back outside working the door, and the same man returned. She was pushed inside the doorway. It's there. She was stabbed in the chest. While staff rushed to Camille's aid, her attacker fled.
Members of the public heard her scream, and as did people within the club that evening. Straight away, first aid was given to her, and an ambulance arrived very, very shortly afterwards.
I was coming from work and I was on the bus. I got a call. "Oh, Camille met in an accident and she's on her way to the hospital." I went straight to my mom's house and I was telling her. We were crying and praying.
Unfortunately, she could not be saved and tragically died of her injuries later at the University College Hospital.
Camille was just 23 years old.
I was on the ground, I was screaming. Camille was such a perfect person. I don't know who could ever do that to her.
A murder investigation investigation was launched.
We strongly believe that the male that entered the club and engaged with Camille in conversation is that same male that returned and fatally stabbed her. A substantial amount of officers were deployed onto the investigation, and all the CCTV cameras from the surrounding area were seized and viewed, which enabled us to identify the man that we believe is responsible, running from the Blue Bunny Club to Archer Street, into Great Windmill Street, and then into the Piccadilly train station.
Given the time and location of the murder, investigators are convinced there could be witnesses who could help.
This is at the heart of London. There's a theatre next door. At 7 o'clock in the evening, there would have been a lot of people about. So although it's literally just off Shaftesbury Avenue, it's a very, very busy area. Very unusual that this would take place.
Although time has passed, there's still determination to get justice for Camille's family.
It's just over 20 years since Camille died, and she is not forgotten by us as the police, who continue to investigate and will never close this case until we find the person responsible, and certainly not forgotten by her family, her loved ones, her friends, who still, obviously remember this and live with this every single day. It's brilliant that we are able to review this case now and hopefully bring some closure to the family.
I am pleading, I'm begging, gentle people, if you know something, please say something to the police. We need to put a closure to this. Every day is the same thing. It's like it just happened. Just imagine if you were in this situation.